Hi, folks. I hope you're well. The thing about the Vineyard Church, the thing that's so sad, you could say sad, and it's sad is about right. I've been saying for a long time that we should have pastors from the area rather than from America, Germany, Spain, wherever, South Africa, wherever. Okay. And then, yeah, the Vineyard Church has people from Scotland, from this sort of area, near this area at least. And when they begun to start that church, yeah, what that church could have been, should have been, yeah. They had that chance to make that church the light that this area needs. And before that church was really alive, they killed it. They killed it. They're dragging around a corpse, a dead church. It's like you having a wife or a husband that's dead, and you're still sleeping next to that dead person. But again, they had the chance to make it beautiful. But they wanted to make it easier for themselves. Again, I'm not saying it was easy, but easier. And again, I'm not saying that their lives have been easy. No, because again, with Jude, she's had at least 3 kids. So is that easy? No. No. Moving to a different place is not easy. So I'm not saying they had an easy life. But choosing everything that the other churches do for your church when you're making that church. Those churches have been praying for years and 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 years for revival. You had a chance to make that church of God's will and way. Yeah. And even now, if you did that, making the church God's way and will, right now, the other churches will look at you and saying, can you teach us how to do that? But what did you do? You asked them The churches don't care about his will or way to teach you. You didn't go to God, you went to them. Again, I understand. It's so much easier. And again, you want them to help you and like you and ask you to join them with this and that and this and that. Because then you think, oh, we're a big church now. But you're still dead. As a church, it's still dead. Again, I said before, if you want to sort out a church, the best way is start again. Completely start again. Because, if your church thinks they should do whatever other churches are doing, your church is dead. So changing it is dead. You can't change it if it's dead. Years ago, people were saying to me, oh, if you join the church and you do what they want, and, in 20 years, you could be a leader and you can change the church then. No, you can't. They're dead. They're dead. And in 20 years' time, if you do that, you'll be dead. Spiritually, you will be completely dead. Because you're doing what those people want you to do, not what God wants you to do. The people. Yeah. Yeah. Well, as I said, look, every time I go to a church, I hope that church will be the right church. And that church will try to do God's way. No. I've never seen a church trying to do God's way. Never. And again, it's not about saying you want a church to be perfect. Come on. Trying to do God's way isn't perfect. It's nowhere near perfect. But again, people. It's people. So, yeah. And again, dealing with that, how to deal with that? Talk truth. Talk truth. So, if you've got a church and you want to deal with the people who don't want to do God's way, completely easy. Talk truth. That will deal with it completely. Just talk truth. They would leave. Because they would get offended. And when you say to them, okay, go to God about it. After a few weeks saying to them, go to God about it, they will leave. Because they will never go to God about it. So therefore they will get offended. And they and their friends in the church will all leave. It's quite easy to do it. Just talk truth and trust God. They will leave. And that's what the church needs, for those people to leave. So enjoy.